The flying carriage continued its journey, cutting through the vast mountain range at an astonishing speed. As it soared over a golden mountain, a sudden flash of light illuminated the terrain, and a golden wolf-like beast sprang toward the carriage like a golden arrow. With a flick of his finger, Han Li released a streak of golden sword chi, slicing the beast in two. Golden blood erupted, and its body, once warm and pliable, quickly hardened into metal, resembling two halves of a golden statue. Weeping Soul, intrigued, inquired about the creature's nature. Han Li confirmed it was a metal beast. Though weak, it could fuse with the mountains for concealment, making it hard to detect stronger ones. Deciding not to risk seclusion here, they pressed on. Suddenly, a desperate cry echoed through the air, transmitted through spiritual sense, resonating with both Han Li and Weeping Soul. It was a woman's voice, pleading for help. The spiritual fluctuation was unique, more advanced than a typical transmission. Han Li, intrigued, agreed to investigate upon Weeping Soul's request. The carriage veered towards the source, its presence masked by a secret technique. They arrived at a canyon where an azure-robed woman was surrounded by 5 Taoist priests from the Golden Horse sect. She was at the mid-True Immortal stage but had been worn down from battle. The priests, all at the early True Immortal stage, held the advantage. Their leader demanded she hand over the Golden Worm Beast's inner core, planning to capture her for their master's pleasure. The woman, defiant despite her exhaustion, refused. With her power waning, the priests prepared to seal her cultivation. The woman, however, was not finished. In her final act, she released a surge of azure fox fur, breaking the golden ring around her. The priests reacted hastily, reinforcing their hold, but the woman, summoning the last of her strength, unleashed a counterattack, causing the 5 priests' attacks to rebound, killing them all in an instant. The azure light around her faded as she collapsed, exhausted. Han Li and Weeping Soul arrived just in time. Han Li, maintaining his calm demeanor, assured Weeping Soul that the woman would be fine. As the woman struggled to rise, she thanked them for their timely intervention. Weeping Soul, ever kind, helped stabilize her with a burst of black light, easing the woman's fatigue. The woman, named Yesusu, explained she was from the Azure Fox tribe, and the Golden Horse sect had always been at odds with her people. She had been hunting a golden worm beast when the sect took advantage of her weakened state to capture her. Had Han Li not intervened, she would have self-detonated to avoid capture. The Golden Horse sect, the most powerful in the region, boasted over 10,000 disciples, including several Golden Immortals, with their Grand Elder at the late Golden Immortal stage. Han Li, contemplating her words, offered to help her recover. He healed her injuries with a surge of azure light, restoring her to full strength. As Yesusu sat to channel her cultivation, Han Li remained thoughtful, aware of the powerful sects in the area and the importance of the relationships they were forging. Han Li and Weeping Soul's journey took a brief respite as they discussed the unusual ability of Weeping Soul to detect the soul auras of others. Her newfound powers, a byproduct of her enhanced cultivation, allowed her to perceive the true nature of those around her. With an intrigued smile, Han Li asked what his soul aura was like, receiving a response that he was just and righteous. They continued their path through the Golden Origin mountain range, with Han Li having no particular destination in mind. After aiding Yesusu in her recovery, Han Li's power had significantly raised her cultivation. In gratitude, Yesusu invited them to her tribe, Azure Fox City, offering hospitality. The two women quickly bonded over shared conversation, and the trio embarked on the flying boat deeper into the mountain range. Upon reaching Azure Fox City, a bustling settlement nestled in a massive col, the city's impressive golden walls and towering pillars caught Han Li's attention. The construction material, dark gold rock, was an ingenious defense against the region's metal beasts. Yesusu explained how the material kept the beasts at bay, as Han Li nodded in acknowledgement. In the city, Yesusu spoke with her subordinate, Ye Ping, about her mother's condition, which had improved thanks to treatments provided by the tribe's elders. Han Li observed the growing tension between them, sensing that not all was as it seemed. Despite the mystical charm of the city, Han Li couldn't shake the thought of his old companions, Jin Tong and Xiao Bai. Weeping Soul's optimism reminded him of the past, and he silently wondered about their fate in the uncertain world they all navigated. As the twilight descended upon Azure Fox City, Yesusu led Han Li and Weeping Soul through the sprawling, verdant city. The towering palaces of the Azure Fox tribe, with their massive Azure Fox statue, greeted them. Han Li was intrigued by the tranquility of the city, which concealed more than its serene exterior suggested. A tour of the city revealed its hidden beauty, yet Han Li's sharp senses noticed the wary eyes of the locals, an indication of underlying tension between the Azure Fox tribe and humans. Despite this, Han Li discerned that the city offered a safe haven, free from immediate danger. That evening, Ye Susu, adorned in a regal azure gown, guided the pair to a peaceful courtyard for rest. Han Li's suspicions grew as he pondered their long stay and the potential plans ahead. Weeping Soul, always perceptive, deduced that Han Li had no intention of leaving soon, likely plotting a deeper involvement with the Azure Fox tribe. His interest in the city was no mere coincidence. Late into the night, Ye Susu ventured to the eastern region of the city, to a dilapidated Azure Fox statue. With reverence, she performed a blood ritual that revealed a hidden spatial opening, leading her to a secluded basin where precious spirit medicines were grown. Han Li followed quietly, recognizing the value of the hidden spirit farmland, which rivaled his own sacred gardens. As Yesusu ventured further, she discovered a hidden underground chamber where her mother, the chief of the Azure Fox tribe, lay in a state of immense suffering. Encased in ice, she battled the glacial energy that ravaged her body. With tears in her eyes, Yesusu sought solace by her mother's side, and a conversation ensued, revealing the political and emotional challenges the tribe faced. Yesusu's decision to form an alliance with human cultivators, despite the painful history, marked a crucial turning point. Han Li, observing from the shadows, silently approved of her wisdom. In the end, the Azure Fox tribe, though deeply scarred by past conflicts, faced the inevitable need to embrace external alliances for the tribe's future growth. This moment of understanding between mother and daughter, tempered with sorrow and resolve, would shape the future of the tribe, setting the stage for Han Li's role in their development. Yesusu's eyes glowed with resolve, her mother's life weighing heavily on her heart. "Mother, you will recover," she murmured fiercely, but the azure-robed woman's sigh betrayed a lingering despair. In a sudden, decisive movement, Yesusu's finger flashed with white light, striking her mother's forehead, rendering her unconscious. Elder Chu's startled cry was ignored as Yesusu bent to her task, inscribing an intricate crimson array around the jade bed. "The blood form origin restoration array," she explained calmly, though Elder Chu was horrified by its dangers. "You will lose your bloodline power forever," she warned, but Yesusu's determination stood unshaken. Her voice held a quiet certainty as she spoke of her choice to sacrifice herself for her mother, dismissing all personal fear for the tribe's future. As the array took form, Elder Chu hesitated, unable to prevent the inevitable. Yesusu's hand pressed down, and crimson light surged around her, flowing into her body like a tide. Azure patterns marked her skin, and an ethereal fox projection rose behind her, two tails swaying proudly. Her hand reached toward her mother's glabella, and as crimson strands entered, a ray of azure light shot forth. The blue ice on her mother began to recede, melting slowly as hope flared briefly in the chamber. Yet, as the ice fought back, Yesusu's energy began to wane. Her azure fox projection faded, her bloodline power dwindling, and the ice pushed on with brutal resistance. In a final act of desperation, Yesusu gave one last roar, pouring the remainder of her essence into the array. Azure flames surged, but the ice resisted, the frozen curse too strong. As the blue ice spread again, enveloping her and her mother, Yesusu's body began to fail. Her vision blurred, but not before she met Elder Chu's gaze, silently bidding her to carry on. The azure-robed woman stirred, breaking from her stupor, but the glacial poison surged once more, threatening to consume all. Her voice, though weak, was firm, urging Elder Chu to flee. But as the ice closed in, it was Han Li who appeared, a shadow in the chaos, to confront the escalating storm. Han Li stood unflinching, his expression calm as Elder Chu charged toward him in a blaze of fury. With a mere flick of his sleeve, a surge of azure light materialized, halting the rampaging blue flames before them. The flames writhed, angered, but could not breach the protective light. Han Li moved with calculated grace, each flick of his sleeve driving back the infernal blaze, its intensity smothered under the weight of his power. With a third sweep, a silver fire raven, born from a ball of silver flames, shot forth, diving into the heart of the blue inferno. The raven's fiery form erupted in a burst of scorching heat, quickly dissolving the icy prison that held Yesusu and her mother captive. As the flames waned, the two women emerged, eyes wide with shock, freed from their icy bonds. Yet the battle was not over. Yesusu's transformation into a fox form began as azure fur sprouted from her skin. The sight caused the azure-robed woman to gasp in alarm, but Han Li's voice was sharp, commanding them to remain still. He released two more azure beams, binding the women in place as they were immobile, before he turned to confront Elder Chu, who had rushed at him in a rage. With a wave of his hand, 5 translucent threads of light wrapped around Elder Chu, halting her movements entirely. She struggled, but her efforts were futile against Han Li's control. Han Li swiftly activated a crimson array beneath them, summoning strands of red light to connect Yesusu and her mother. In a moment's flash, Han Li appeared beside the azure-robed woman, his palm pressed to her forehead, a crimson light shooting forth to enter her body, reawakening the dormant bloodline powers within her. As Yesusu's own bloodline power was restored, her body reverted to its human form, the fox fur vanishing in the wake of Han Li's power. His efforts replenished her, restoring her strength, and in a blink, they were once again free to move. The gratitude was evident in Yesusu's eyes, though her mother, Ye Luo, was quick to express her thanks. Despite the respect offered, Elder Chu's mistrust of Han Li remained palpable. Han Li, ever composed, waved off their thanks. Attributing his actions to the responsibility of a guest in Azure Fox City, he explained his intrusion, citing his ability to detect violent energy fluctuations as the reason for his arrival. While Ye Luo appreciated his timely intervention, Elder Chu remained suspicious of Han Li's true intentions. The two women, though relieved, still seemed tense in Han Li's presence. Ye Luo's stern admonition to Ye Susu for her recklessness showed the deeper familial bonds. Yet even as Han Li made his departure, his thoughts lingered on the spirit plants within the Azure Fox tribe's fertile lands. Ye Susu's pride in her tribe's expertise in growing spirit medicines was evident, and she presented him with a jade slip containing a detailed list of the plants they cultivated. Han Li's nod affirmed his interest, but his mind remained focused on the larger mysteries that lay ahead. As the two departed, Elder Chu continued her silent observation, her resentment toward human cultivators a shadow over her actions. The conversation turned to matters of trust and resentment. As Ye Luo, with a sigh, cautioned Elder Chu against her harsh treatment of Han Li, recognizing the man's past aid despite her personal vendetta. The atmosphere remained tense, as Ye Chu's bitterness was as sharp as her loyalty to her fallen family.